Hey everyone, we're back here. I want to make a quick little Astro update video, and there's a lot shifting out this week, so just wanted to make this real quick as a reminder. Tomorrow Mars does actually as well go officially retrograde. It's been in pre-shadow. It will be officially sort of making that turn again tomorrow, and I'm filming this on the 8th, 2020, so September. Feel free to take a look at where you reside in the world and the timing of, these shifts and whatnot. I'm talking, let's say, Eastern Pacific Coast time. All right, but anyhow, 8th of September officially when Mars will go retrograde. And so when we're looking at, the longer term cycle of what this might be bringing up for review, we're really looking at the period of time starting around the 25th of July. Okay, and this is a rough estimate. And of course, it's this is a general sort of, let's say, overcast but of energy, but it will be different, let's say, for everyone, and what does come up for review can be something you've been touching upon months ago, months down the line as well. It'll be different for everyone, but in particular we're looking at Mars energy, we're looking at Aries energy as well, given that Mars is in Aries, and it'll be today it's right around the 28th degree of Aries, which is in that sort of advanced degree sort of territory of a sign of Aries, and so there's a very strong sort of pull of that magnetic frequency. I'm hearing that as well. So Aries is a very sort of powerful energy, you can say. Interestingly, it is ruled by Mars naturally in the zodiac chart, as is Scorpio. So they both share that ruler of Mars. And when you look at that archetype as well, Scorpio, you really do as well see that emphasis on the concept of sort of a power in a certain way. And what is that? But specifically physically, and we see the more physical side of that entrancement with Aries, and we see the magnetism also energetically as well with Scorpio, with Pluto there as a co-ruler. But not to say that that Aries is not okay. And everybody has all of these archetypes, right, in a certain way laid out in the birth chart. So Mars in Aries, 28 degrees. It will be, again, bringing up for review, potentially, matters related to the period of time, let's say July 25th, 2020. So feel free to take a look back at that period for you. What was starting to kind of generate around that time? What was being brought up as well, let's say even as a discussion? These stages can happen in sort of waves. So in other words, it's like, when the pre-shadow hits, which is when it was, again, July 25th, about 2020, Mars went into pre-shadow. Okay, so it was like kind of already entering into that domain and realm of kind of, okay, well, this is kind of what we're working with. As an energy, and in terms of the way energy is moving. So it's like the re-navigation, may have already taken place. You might kind of have an idea of what concepts may be coming up for review. The full speed ahead in that direction is more so, as I see it, when retrograde officially is moved through, and that is, again, going to be tomorrow. So let's clear it and ground it. There could be something that kind of picks up speed. I'm hearing that as well, and really starts to it's almost this feeling as well of where do you want to be when it starts getting really intense. Like, find your position, find where you want to stand, sit. I'm hearing that as well. I don't know what that's going to, but for a number of it has to do possibly with how when we think about Mars and Aries, we really think about we think about how we present, right? Aries and Mars being the ruler of the first house, ruled by the ascendant. It's really a matter of how it is that we address, how it is that we even represent, right? Even in some kind of space. So it's like, what are my values? I'm hearing this specifically. What do I believe in? And that could be really coming up for review here. It's almost like I have to know what that is. I have to know where I stand on this topic. I have to know. I have to be, also at peace and one with that consciousness. Interesting. That conscious knowing. So in other words, it's like, if this is my philosophy, how is it that I also sort of involve that in everything that I do, and I really commit to it? I'm hearing that as well. Interesting. So now, again, everybody has Aries in the chart. Everybody has Mars in the chart. So this energy will be operating a certain aspect of life, let's say, for you, depending on your birth chart. Now, Mars in Aries, let's clear the energy around. Yes. So Mars in Aries, again, 28 degrees tomorrow, and in retro, and we see this really leading out into 2021. We see it actually up into January. So you'll have it officially going direct November 13th, but it will still have post-shadow retrograde and to move through, and that will lead all the way until January 2nd, 2021. Now, let me see, anything else here? Any major cycles? Aries rules, our will as well, drive, our actual energy, right, our resources, It can as well associate with a sense of pride. Okay, what it is that we sort of feel we associate with this way, in a way that we feel, personally sort of represents us as well, right? That is that energy of Mars. And in a certain way, it can be. It always depends on how you channel these frequencies, right? Energies, and it's like, okay, well, Aries and fire in general can represent really creative, dynamic, leadership-oriented energy. It can also, if not channeled properly, consciously, can also be associated with like dominance, for example, aggression and frustration and anger and things like that. Okay. Everyone ready? All right, pick up your pencils. I'm hearing that as well. Okay, not your pen, your pencil. Okay, so, take it as you will. Hopefully we won't... Well, hopefully we all know where we are in the room, right? Where we stand on certain concepts. Like, in other words, there will be a lot coming up. And it's like, how are you going to not necessarily get triggered? I'm hearing as well by these things. Hey, SV, not too much. We're just sort of talking about Mars retro here first, and that will be coming up here tomorrow. Yet again, on 9th of September, and so yes. It really comes down to how comfortable you feel with, I'm here for your audience, how comfortable you feel with the concept of leadership, how comfortable you feel with the concept of Aries, first house energies, Mars, feeling something intensely and also representing it. I'm hearing, and in the way that you feel actually serves you. Interesting. So now for a number of you, let's clear the energy and ground. We'll be seeing these sort of transits again up into 2021. Now we have we'll get further into this down the line in further astro talks possibly, but let's say towards November, by that time, by that hour, we might as well have already kind of been very much comfortable with understanding, okay, it's like, okay, I'm going to fall over a few times and I'm going to realize, well, okay, I need to be ready to maybe fall again, like I need to be ready for that, I need to be aware of that, and that is something that may take a little bit of time, but in other words, you might kind of start feeling and getting a sense for what this cycle may speak to for you, before we get, let's say, into post-shadow. So I actually find that pre-shadow sometimes can be, and of course so many factors will be at play, it really depends, but pre-shadow can be even sometimes more intense, because it's like, whoa, this is the first time I'm ever encountering this energy. I'm hearing actually it could be something like from the past as well, like for a long time now. I haven't felt this way in a long time now, sort of energy. But once we have a pre and then we step into the official retrograde, it's like, we read the syllabus, okay, it was a shock, we're going to be having to address those things. And then in, retro official, it's like, now we're actually, carrying it out in practice, let's clear it in ground. And then post-shadow, can be a little bit of a bumpy ride. Okay, but it's an adjustment, and overall, you can sense where things are going. It's clear the energy in the throat chakra. For a number of you, this may bring a very strong focus to how it is that you connect with others on the concept of what you love. And that can be a contentious space depending on how it is that you represent that. So, do you feel triggered when other people do not, let's say, represent what you love in the way that maybe you love it, or the way that you represent it? Like, are you going to take it personally? I'm hearing that as well as possibly a concept here coming up for review with Mars and Aries. This is the Emperor energy that we're talking about with Mars and Aries, Mars, Emperor, even Empress, but we're really talking about the Emperor here with the Mars and Aries. 20 degrees, really inching into the later, what is the habit associated with the part of your chart that is related to how it is that you address what you want? Okay, now this is just Mars retrograde. We are also going to be moving through another transit here on the 12th. It's going to be a turning point. On the 12th of September, just a few days after trailing out of Mars officially going retro, we've got, and always, heed your personal intuition. These are just, again, general. It's a matter of how you channel the energies. It's always a matter of how you ultimately, actually also do channel them on a daily basis. And, these cycles do bring up and make very clear for us how we may have already been moving in a certain direction. And that is kind of the beauty of the readings and working with, meditation and things like that, because you're able to address what is already forming. It's like, if you think about intuition and sensing energy, you're kind of, you're assessing, you're sensing, you are tapping into, you're interpreting, possibly in some kind of way, the space of sort of how something might be actually created. Interesting. It's like walking into a workshop and like seeing how everyone is working, and prior to the main event sort of feeling. So there might be something that you recognize actually during this period that has been, and it's beautiful because retro, people talk about retro in a way of like, no, but retrogrades really can kind of make things clear. Okay, are we ready to always see, why the house smells bad? Which trash can, what is lurking in? But, is it really fun to have to also like clear things out? Not always, but it depends how you see it as well. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise, it can be. And with Mars here in Aries, like it can bring the cycle up to a point of also completion and feeling like, wow, I'm glad I actually officially addressed that and that it's now cleared me. So wherever you've been in limbo, especially for those of you with your Mars here, however you're operating with your Mars naturally in your Aries, if that was in limbo where you're like, I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to take this, or where am I going, it's like in that moment where everything's thrown up in the air and no one's actually going to tell you what to do, you realize, well, what do I really want to do, and what do I really feel? And that's the moment, right? It's like, what do I really consciously wish as well to discover of this space, to direct. And leadership, it's all about leadership here around this period, and not only with Mars Aries energy, but everything actually, because Mars is an orchestra with everything in the chart, as is every other energy planet. So you cannot necessarily isolate these factors, right? It's like take it as you will. Okay, but anywho, we have Jupiter as well that's been retro. We have so many planets here retrograde around this time. So there are a lot of waves. Some of them are clashing with one another. But yes, expect also things that you might have been kind of confused about for quite some time to come up for review. Again, it may not be necessarily pleasant at first, may not be necessarily like, oh my, the food is rotting in the fridge in that one corner of that shelf. It's like, I don't know, it's like, okay, that sucks. And it smells bad, but now we're able to address it. And once you do, you clear it out. At the end of that, you're like, okay, I'm glad I like figured out that's what was happening. Interesting. Let's clear it around. Yes, whatever was also complicated, I'm seeing that will be scaled down and reduced to a very simple discussion. I'm hearing that as well, where it's like, and that could go a number of ways. Okay, we hope that it will not lead to, let's say, reacting, okay, because that Aries energy really can as well tip the boat in that direction. But it, with the Mars and Aries, it's like, what has classified also our passion, our desire, which is otherwise so impulsive and clear and simple, and really childlike actually, right? Children generally kind of know very, very much instinctively what they want, okay? There's not a lot of thinking, processing possibly, but again, it always depends. What has complicated that for us? Okay, where did we kind of like want something, desire something, but then think around that space? That I'm saying will kind of be made very clear here, okay, around this time. So whatever was complicated, whatever was kind of confusing, whatever was sort of casting this sort of doubt as well around what you felt to be your primary discussion. Funny, 11 likes right there, 44 people in the room. Welcome everyone. Thank you all so much for tuning in. At that point, you kind of, you're able to kind of see like, okay, that was fake. I'm seeing someone even tapping on a wall, like knocking on a window, and it's like, someone is even kind of like freaked out about something. They're like, oh my gosh, what if? And it's like, okay, that was fake. I'm hearing that like specifically. It's like realizing that the movie's a movie as well. Okay, interesting. So yeah, no, but for a number of you, you're defining also your priorities. I'm seeing that as well as being a very strong message here with Mars and Aries retro. Thank you, dear Rick B, for your dear donation. $20 are on the table. Thank you for tuning into you. And this is sometimes awkward because yes, we have this sort of independent ideology space, right, that is now more than ever so important to address finally with Mars and Aries at 28 degrees. But then it's like, okay, but then you turn around, it's like that feeling where you fall in love with something and you're like having a moment with that one thing, and then you turn around and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot, like everyone else is here too. Like it's like there is still that question of how my maybe newfound sense of discovering, I'm hearing also my potential, what I really want, integrates with the needs of others. And there's a shift here happening. Some of you might be at that point where you're like, I need to tell my friends that I can't be working here anymore. I'm hearing in this way with them at this time, you know, over and over and over again, actually, as well, is what I'm hearing. So there's something maybe of a pattern, of a cycle that no longer a story tells your needs in a sensory way as well. So we're talking as well about stimulation here at this point. What do we find stimulating? And I don't see a lot of putting up here around this time with what just doesn't cut it. Like, if something doesn't make us feel like excited, again, I'm here, like, think like a kid around this time, Mars and Aries. Like, kids don't poke their head in rooms that are not interesting. You know, Mars and Aries, it's like, this is really coming down to what you really feel. There's no sugarcoating. Okay, the cupcakes to make it seem more alluring. If the flavor is something that we are interested in, then that's going to be the primary conversation. Okay, it's not about the frosting here. I'm hearing that with the Mars and Aries. It's about the actual thing itself. I'm hearing that as well. So and it's interesting because, again, if we even think of kids, they're able to, in a really uncanny way, kind of also pinpoint things that sound right or do not sound right, right? How many of you are aware that you work with kids, or you kind of know how they operate? And I don't want to say they, everyone is. And what is a kid? Everybody has, right, the inner child as well. At what point do we sort of like not become kids? But there is this question of sort of inverting, and I'm seeing that you with yourself. It's like, okay, where have I sort of like kind of just lied to myself about that? It's like, okay, and I'm seeing people that looking in on themselves like, that's silly. Why would I say I'm not interested in that? I'm hearing that as well. Like, are you kidding? I wanna leap like a frog, and I wanna leap forward onto that one pad as well. So it's like, I want to move forward. Let's clear the ground in a second. I'm hearing marvel. It's cleared ground. I'm hearing comedian. Bandit, is that you? Maybe Bandit wants to say hello. Let's see. Bandit? Hi. Oh, hi, Bandit. You are such a sweetie. He is here, you guys. He did want to say hello. Hi. Hi. You look so excited. Oh my. This is like a first time appearance in a while now. Hi, Bandit. You got a waggy tail. What's going on? Hi. Hi, Bandit. How are you? Bandit is good boy. Bandit is good boy. He's very happy. Oh my. Hello. Wait, you want to say hello to your friends? Just real quick, right before you go. Right before you go. Let me just say hello. Bandit. Your friends think so cute, they think you're a sweetie. They love to say hello, so thank you for visiting. He's like, alright, I just gotta wait for the song to be finished, and then go back to my bone. Bandit is sweetie. You have a spider web on your whisker, on your muzzle, Bandit. He's like, was this Sagittarius reading? Wait, Scorpio? What? You're a sweetie, Bandit. We love you, Bandit. You look so hyper. You're very hyper. Oh, you smell food? You smell foodies. Okay, Bandit. You had a good walk today? Yeah. All right, ready to go? Bye. See you later. Oh, you're still here. Huh? You want to come back? Okay. Wow. Whoa, he's in the mood. He's in the mood. He's in the mood to hang out. All right, hey, Bandit, come here. He's usually like, I'm busy. Whenever I want to hang out with him during the readings now, recently, he's like very like, he's in an audition right now. He can't speak to you. Sorry. He's got an agenda. But today is something else. Something else going on with the puppers. Banna, do you want to give me a huggy? Give me a huggy, Banditos. He must have a lot of Mars in his chart. He's like, what you doing talking about my Mars and my ruler? Huh, Aries, huh? Interesting. Yeah, he's I feel like he does have a lot of water in his chart, a lot of Sag as well. We're talking about that in the Sag reading earlier today. Yeah, so anyhow, interesting. So yeah, puppies. What's going on? What? Who are you, sniffers? What are you sniffing? Bandit, where's your friend? Go get your friend. Go get your friend. He's in a mood. Wow, he opened the door with his nose. Oh man, what's going on? Oh my. Did you do something? You shouldn't have. He's super excited. It's almost suspicious now. Okay. Hi! Suddenly wants to be friends. Aw, Bandit. Baby Bandit. Aww. Okay, he wants ear scratch. Just a moment. Got these big, beautiful brown eyes. Big, beautiful brown eyes, Bandit. You're in a mood, huh? You're in a mood. Go with your friend. Go. He's like in playtime mood. Aw. So yeah, we're talking here about that very playful energy as well. That's very much, right, Mars, Aries, like sort of kid-like playful energy with Mars in Aries. And so, yeah, now, all right, we're talking as well about Jupiter. So Jupiter has been retrograde for quite some time now, February to be exact. February 18th is when it officially went into pre-shadow. May 14th is when it officially went retrograde, and then September 12th is where we'll see it go clear and direct. It does still have that post-shadow as well, just like any other, retrograde planet. December 6th is when it will officially clear. So we have that lingering for a bit of time as well, but at least we'll have that, in its direct motion. Now, let's clear the energy and ground. Let's see here what else. We are in Venus and Leo. How many of you are feeling that? And how are you feeling with that energy? We kind of culminate up into Venus and Cancer a few days prior to that, and that was a really big wave. How many of you felt that, and you felt the shift of it moving into Venus and Leo about 2 days ago? So that was about September 5th, 6th, and coinciding with that, we had Mercury go from, Virgo. We've had the Sun in Virgo, Mercury Virgo, moving into Libra. So there was another shift right there. So we had a few of these little waves, call them little waves, but they, long-term cycles that were overlap. Well, it's long-term. Everything is, again, subjective, but, bringing energy from the last few months actually with them. So, very interesting. Okay. Yeah, I know. Sun and Moon Trail. I know. It's so sweet. He was so silly. Aw, what a sweetie. What a silly boy. All right. So, there is a lot. What else? We also have, I was looking at the calendar, just, right before I got on this video, and, Mercury will be going retrograde again. Let me pull up the exact date. We'll be on pre-shadow starting on, let's see, I believe, 23rd. Yep, of September. That's right around the time, actually. So the Sun will also be moving from Virgo into Libra. That's around the 22nd. So we got here a lot going on this month. In addition, Saturn here will be going direct on the 28th or so of September. We'll talk more about that as we get closer to that date. But the big sort of wave here is Mars going retro, there's just, it comes down to how we identify, I think, in a certain way, what we feel, what we desire. And in doing that, in moving in that direction, simultaneously, how do we manage the way that others may react to that? Because, we can't really control the reaction of others. Maybe someone reacts in a certain way to what we want to create, right? To our creative sort of vision of a certain space. And that's not our duty, right? To manage their reaction. It is a matter, maybe, of how you move a certain space out. Now, that's not that you might, so for a number of you, operate in a space that's highly controversial, possibly. But how is it that you remain, that you remind yourself also of what you see yourself creating and leading out, no matter sort of what comes up? And that really, again, comes down to leadership. So the leadership of your vision, possibly, right? How it is that you maintain your perspective. So thank you guys for tuning in, Love the Light. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys soon.